Snipers, you have to see what's happening to the cryptocurrency market this Sunday, as it is Independence Day and Bitcoin is back above 34,788, putting it now above the weekly and monthly open. I want to talk about whether or not we're going to see this retest of the 50-day moving average at 36,500, or even potentially test the top of this channel resistance at 40,000 US dollars. More importantly, the Bitcoin maximalists have been saying altcoin season is over. Now that we're seeing confidence back above 35,000, exactly as we've been talking about on the Snipers channel, the Ethereum and the Bitcoin chart breaking out up over 5% today, with Bitcoin only up over 2%. Notice how we're above 65,000 Satoshis. Just like we talked about yesterday, this was the confirmation that we were going to break above 2240. The question is, are we going to see Ethereum break out back to the $3,000 level to retest this channel resistance and see a lot more strength in Bitcoin, leading other altcoins to the forefront of this others dominance chart, now back above this weekly open, and this market structural support is acting as an area that it looks like we could be seeing a potential reversal. We get above 13% dominance. The Bitcoin maximalists saying altcoin season is over are in the dumpster. That means we're going to see the higher high or the lower high form for others dominance, indicating more strength for altcoins. I want to talk about the early confirmations of this, and then of course we'll look more into Bitcoin dominance, the Bitcoin chart, talk about the 50-day moving average. If we get above that, how significant that is going to be. Of course, it's Independence Day tomorrow. Traditional markets are closed in observance of July 4th, and so we have to realize an extended weekend means more manipulation in the cryptocurrency market. Is just another pump to the upside before another low. I want to talk about that today. You guys are watching the Snipers channel on a Sunday. My name is Naeem Al-Abeidi. Remember to smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. First, I want to talk about exactly what's happening here to Bitcoin. So we're coming up to test this 50-day moving average right now, and at this point, if we get above 36,500, we could assume that 40,000 is back on the table, and we're going to come and retest this channel resistance. Of course, it's going to be a little tougher for Bitcoin to get above 41,950, where we have the 200-day moving average now sitting in between this range all the way to that $44,800 level. That's the key area we want to get above to assume a more macro reversal in trend. But for now, Bitcoin is showing positive momentum above 34,788. That's the important level to watch. I told you guys if we were to get above that, watch altcoins, because altcoins tend to move and perform better than Bitcoin when Bitcoin's consolidating. So despite the Bitcoin maximalist saying that Bitcoin dominance is way too low, it needs to come back up for us to assume further action for altcoins, I'm just sticking to the charts, being the umpire, and I'll talk about others dominance in just a second. But with Bitcoin, if we're seeing consolidation here between 35,000 and 41,950 for the next couple of weeks, next couple of months, that means that altcoins are really the place to be looking at long positions, and that's where there's going to be a lot more volatility and opportunity if Bitcoin stays inside of this channel. But for now, things are looking good. We get above the 50-day moving average. That's the first time we get above it since the start of this bear market, and that would start the rescue operation to the 200-day moving average sitting at that $44,800 level. That's really where we want to get to assume a more macro reversal in this trend to see potential further highs, potentially come back to the $50,000 level, but that's not on the table yet. We know there's a lot of overhead resistance. The channel resistance, the best case scenario for any upside right now is going to be that $40,000 level. It's a big even. It makes sense. And so that's what I'm expecting for Bitcoin. We stay above 34,788. We're only going to see upside or sideways price action. Path of least resistance is always sideways to a little bit higher when there's low volume. So not downwards and a little bit to the side, but upwards and a little bit to the side, right? Because inflation is something that affects assets every single second. And that's why if markets are calm, typically assets are supposed to go up in value. So that's why when you look at macro trends, you see those type of market cycles in a more clear picture, and these downtrends and these bear markets become a lot less significant. So right now we're back above 35,000. That's what we wanted coming into this weekend. Assume calmness. Happy Independence Day. What a great time to get above this level. But here's the big question. If we get back below 34,780, what downside could we expect? Once again, I'm only going to expect downside below 30,000 with a lot of volume. And if we get below 30,000, it's going to be for a short amount of time. Have your limit orders down below 30,000 to enter into Bitcoin, because that's always on the table on a weekend. We have to be more freestyle. It's the most manipulated due to CME futures being closed in traditional markets. But that's what I'm watching right now for Bitcoin. More importantly, let's talk about Ethereum. Yesterday, if you guys took our trade at 2240, I said, if we come to test 2240, we were most likely going to test 65,000 Satoshis and get above that. Now we're going to see a massive breakout for Ethereum, and that's exactly what we're seeing for those in the Discord. If you guys weren't tuned into the channel, I sent out an entry at 2240. It already hit all targets. That's why it's important to watch others' dominance. I'm going to talk about that in a sec, but let's talk about Ethereum because it leads the altcoins. It's the biggest altcoin. Here's the big thing right now that we have to keep in mind. We're at the 50-day moving average with the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart. We get above that, we're in a very strong bull market for Ethereum. We get above the 50-day moving average on the Ethereum to US dollar price, that's even more confirmation, and it's sitting at like 2,500. We can get above that really quickly. That assumes even more bullish action for Ethereum. So I'm not saying there's going to be a flip. What I am saying is don't just think about opinions of Bitcoin maximalists or even Ethereum maximalists or any maximalist, any extremist. You always want to be in the middle, right? You always want to have preferably a neutral point of view. And that's why, despite everyone saying altcoin season is over now that Bitcoin topped out, I've maintained myself saying that if we're at this 20-week moving average at home base with others' dominance, it's the most bullish chart in crypto, and that's what I'm following. Here's the extreme side to this opinion. So far, it looks like since January, altcoins have been the favorable assets. We saw fear come into the market. Bitcoin dominance came up a little bit. We saw the top of Bitcoin, and others' dominance finally had a relief back to home base at the 20-week moving average. We've yet to cross it, and we held this multi-year support level. So you guys listen to a ton of maximalists and extremists. Well, let me give you a maximalist opinion, but I'm not one. All we're seeing right now is a garden variety retest of an important support. In technical analysis, that means we either come up to form a higher high or we come to form a lower high, right? Because there has to be a reaction at a support, which was once a resistance, needs to be a support. That's what garden variety market behavior would say. If that's the case, that means heading into October, November, December 2021, we're almost there to 2022. Are we going to be focused on Bitcoin or altcoins? That's the question. If others' dominance stays above 20-week moving average, altcoins is the play. So that's what I'm watching. Ethereum to Bitcoin is confirming it as a leading indicator, showing strength beyond Bitcoin, coming down, testing this previous weekly open right now. You can see we're even below the weekly open on Bitcoin dominance. There's no reason for Bitcoin dominance to just be coming up for no reason. It did see a little bit of a pause here from the downtrend since we saw the China FUD, the Elon Musk FUD, whatever you want to call it. But the fact of the matter is we're so far and below the home-based 20-week moving average that it is going to be a long time before we can assume a bullish reversal here for Bitcoin dominance. And that's just my opinion. So I don't mind being the different opinion in the markets, and it's just how I roll, right? And with that being said, I want to give away one of my favorite books on value investing to one of you watching our videos. Comment below your favorite altcoin. Maybe we'll cover some more altcoins soon. And remember to smash the like button, snipers. We want to hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel. Let's go ahead and pick a winner. Syrian Corey says, OMG, the timing is perfect. Send me a message on Instagram. You want a book. Hope you enjoyed today's Sunday update. Happy Independence Day to each and every one of you snipers. I appreciate all of you. I couldn't do this without you. And until next time, snipers